Welcome everybody to this presentation for the master's degree in biology for translational research and precision medicine. I'm Daniele Dell'Orco and I'm the reference teacher for this master program. If you are here today or if you are connected via Zoom, I guess you might be interested in knowing what this master program is about. And in the next 20 minutes, I will try to explain something about this. Not really new because it's the third year that we have this course available here at the University of Verona, but this rather new master program. And it is actually quite an innovative master's degree program, which has as the main goal that of training a new generation of biologists that are capable of doing research. So the idea is that we want to train young researchers that have actually some competence and some skills in two main areas of rather modern research in biomedicine. The first area is translational research. Do you know what translational research is? Maybe any of you can also answer in Italian, it's no problem. If I think about translational research, do you have any idea of an example of what could be a result or an outcome of translational research? Something comes to your mind, perhaps? No? Okay, I will give you just a couple of examples. So when there is a new virus, as we know, for instance, some years ago, there is need for vaccines so that we can fight all together against this virus, as we know. And the way we produce vaccines, for example, is truly a very good example of translational research, because we first of all have to study what a virus is, what are the features of the virus, what are the proteins by which the virus can interact with cells and actually enter the cells. And all this part is something that basic research does, so study the process. Then it comes the biotechnological part when we want to, for example, produce vaccines, and we want to actually produce them in a large scale so that we can face a terrible pandemic. And this is really the application of a discovery in basic research. Another example is, for example, insulin for patients suffering from diabetes. You probably know somebody in your family or your friends who suffer from diabetes. And what they do, they receive quite often before the main meal an injection of insulin. And this is really a recombinant protein that is essentially substituting for the defective insulin that the patient cannot properly produce. And it allows the correct metabolism of glucose, which is essential for life. And again, being able to understand what is the problem in medical terms comes from very basic research. Insulin is a fundamental hormone for metabolism. It is something that is studied in basic research. And then the way we can produce recombinant insulin is a result of translating, basic knowledge into something that has biomedical relevance. So these are, in my opinion, quite good examples of what is translational research, so transforming results from basic scientific research into very important and very effective tools for prevention, diagnosis, and innovative medical therapeutic options. And there is also an English expression that is from bench to bed, which applies quite nicely to translational research. When, for example, a clinician has to deal with patients and who have specific diseases and then brings this information from clinics back to the lab, to the bench, and studies the molecular mechanisms, the cellular mechanisms of this disease, and then creates new models, for example, new cellular models or new animal models that help understanding what happens in the disease and also create some specific therapeutic molecule, and then again goes back to the patient in clinical trials and tries the effectiveness of this treatment. So it is a sort of cycle from bed to bench, and this is what translational research is. And with this program, we want to actually create the so-called forma mentis for our students to understand what translational research is. But not only that, we also want to create knowledge about precision medicine, which is the new paradigm of medicine. So each of us in this room or connected in our webinar, buongiorno, is a specific individual with a specific genetic background. Each of us has his or her own genome, so it has specific genetic characteristics, but all of us have different interaction with the environment, have different styles or lifestyle, which somehow is as important as our genetics. You know, what the importance of epigenetics, for example. So this creates specific features for every individual, which translate into the fact that when we have to find new therapies which are effective, each patient is different from any other. So we need to stratify patients according to their features towards a so-called personalized medicine approach that is more effective for specific patients or groups of patients rather than other groups of patients, so that, for example, the dose of the same medicine has to be tuned for specific features of each patient. This is the new paradigm of medicine, so precision medicine. It is very important that we start reasoning like this already at the level of our education at university if we want to make contributions for future medicine. And this is the other main area that we want to cover with our master's program. So translational research and precision medicine towards the design of personalized treatments that also lower side effects for specific groups of patients. And to do this, to train this new generation of biologists with these important features, we will use, and we actually use, a new teaching approach that is focused on our local expertise here at the University of Verona. So every teacher, every professor in this study program is a researcher, is a scientist who is leading a research group in specific subject in translational research or precision medicine, and brings to the class his or her experience so that the students finally can touch what the problem is in terms of real biomedical relevant problems to be investigated. So learning in our teaching program is inspired by real life research issues, and that is because we are, as teachers, scientists ourselves. So we reached this ambitious goal of training this new generation of future researchers by using an innovative teaching approach. So beside a solid classroom teaching, which is traditional classroom teaching, we also have a very extensive hands-on laboratory work. So each student receives more than 160 hours lab experience, so essentially hands-on laboratory work, which is always conducted in small groups, no more than 5 people, 5 students per group, so that each student can finally touch the problem from the experimental point of view and really enter it from the experimental viewpoint, which is to us essential for this practical and in-depth knowledge that we want to provide you with. To do that, to do all this important laboratory work, we need, of course, laboratories. We have teaching laboratories, but we also use these centers of excellence in our university here in Verona, so that you can train yourself in the very same environment that we as researchers, we as scientists use in our daily work. So, for example, Centro Piattaforme Tecnologiche has cutting edge and technologies, for example, for imaging, for spectroscopy, for mass spectrometry, for sequencing. All these technologies will be presented to the students with real case applications, because this is what actually we do in our daily research as group leaders, as scientists. And we will also visit and use this structure, as well as LURM, Laboratorio Universitario di Ricerca Medica. That is the place where clinicians, so professors who are medical doctors, have their own laboratories, and this is where translational research really happens, because it is where they bring the problem from bed to bench, exactly. So this LURM center will also be used for our teaching, as well as CIRSAL, Centro Interdipartimentale di Servizio alla Ricerca Sperimentale, where we have very high competence about the possible models to be used for research, for example, animal models that can be necessary to test for example, for a new therapy to be developed, but also for the ethical or bioethical implication of research dealing with animals. It's important that you know that also, in order to reduce the use of animals for medically oriented research. Also, ARCNet, it is a multidisciplinary center of excellence for precision oncology. So it's dedicated to cancer research. And again, you will get to know the center and use part of its infrastructure for teaching purposes and for training. So you see that it is an offer that is truly relying on broad training in the lab, not only in teaching lab, that is of course essential, but also in the centers where research is done for real. So you will really breathe a real scientific biomedical type of atmosphere. And this master degree is not just our own invention. It is highly demanded by those who want this type of figure for their centers or for their companies. So we have stakeholders who are truly interested in our graduated students, and who offer teaching activities in our master program, and also internship opportunities for your final project, but also for after your graduation as a way to find a job, for example, in the same companies or in the same institutions. Just to mention some, of course, Azienda Ospedaliera, but also we have very important biotech companies like Becton Dickinson or Miltenyi. We have essential drug discovery companies who are present here also in the territory of Verona, like Evotec, or we have also very prestigious research institutions like Karolinska Institute in Stockholm or CNR. They all contribute to our program by organizing seminars or by taking you as students for trainship. So it's really something that is close to real work-oriented environments. And to achieve this important objective, we rely on some innovative teaching methodologies. So not only face-to-face lecture, like I'm talking to you now, but we make use of innovative teaching approach, like team-based learning, for example. So you will learn to work in teams. It's very important to work with your partners in any job. Now you have to be able to confront and to interact with other people. So there's also some lectures dedicated to team-based learning, and also flipped classroom, in which you are giving some teaching material in advance. And therefore, instead of taking, the lecture as a passive listener, just listen, you are given this material in advance, you come to the classroom, and then the classroom is then where you fix in your mind the knowledge, because you discuss with the teacher, you discuss with your partners, and this is a new way of teaching and of learning. where students become active players and not only passive players. Also, problem-solving tasks, you will be given some tasks, some particular assessment, and then you will discuss again in the classroom. So there's a mixture of traditional teaching and this new ways of more modern, innovative teaching that have proven efficacy for learning. And of course, as you already know from my presentation, every teaching activity here has to be done in English. This is essential because this is an international master's degree program. And so all teaching activities are in English. You have to join the program, you have to have a B2 right, certificate in English, which you can have at the time where you subscribe. And to access our master's program, there is actually restricted access with qualification assessment. I will give you these requirements in a few minutes. And for next year, so from October on, for the new academic year, we will accept 35 applications, 5 of which, or a maximum of 5 of which, will be reserved for non-EU students who come from non-EU countries. If we have less non-EU applications or eligible application, we will then accept more EU or Italian or EU students. But normally it is 30 plus 5 with some possible adjustment, but not more than 35 students will be in the class, because in this way we can ensure high quality teaching, high quality lab, high quality assessment. So if you have 100 people, you cannot have, in my opinion, high quality teaching. So that's why we have fixed a number to this low, relatively low number of possible places. So how is then the structure of our program? How is structure our teaching program? Well, it is a master's degree, so it has 2 years, first year and second year. And the first year has a common education path. You will see in a minute the courses, so the classes, the name of the classes, but it's important to notice that we built up a common path in the first year, so you won't have much of a choice, because we think that if you want to truly achieve these goals that I've been talking about, you need to be guided through your education. It's very nice to be able to choose everything, but sometimes one doesn't have really the knowledge to make a harmonic choice. So we made this choice for you in the first year, so that we're sure that you will be given a package of knowledge that is essential for then choosing in the second year what is of your higher interest. So common education path with over 160 hours of laboratory work for each student. And then you will see there is a specific path for specialization, which is made by the choice of 3 elective courses in 3 different areas, which are those 3. So translational neuroscience is one possible area. Precision oncology is another possible area. And laboratory medicine is another possible area. So by choosing courses in one of these 3 areas, you will build up your more specific knowledge. And why these 3 areas? Because again, we rely on local expertise, and we do have expertise here at the University of Verona in these 3 areas, so we can guarantee high quality education in these 3 areas. Okay. So let's have a look at the educational plan. So you will find information on the website, but the first year has 1 semester where you will study 3 different classes: molecular and cellular basis of disease, where you will build up your knowledge about what makes a cell or a tissue healthy or unhealthy. So you will refresh and learn new concepts, for example, in histology, physiology, immunology, cell biophysics, and pathology, so that you will build up the essential information. And this is a purely theoretical class. Then you will have a course in biological macromolecules, interactions, and networks, where you will learn how different biomolecules like proteins, nucleic acids, lipids have specific features from the biochemical point of view, but when they interact with one another, they build up new properties that are essential for the proper functioning of the cell, for example, in signal transduction or in gene expression, or can be dysfunctional, for example, in the presence of point mutations that are associated with disease. And here you see you already have 30 hours of laboratory in this course in the first semester. Then there is another course in omic science in precision medicine, again with 30 hours lab. And in this course, you will learn about genomics, proteomics, epigenomics, so all the omic areas that permit this top-down view. Well, while this course, biological macromolecules, is a sort of bottom-up view. You start from molecules and you build up complexity. With the omics, you start from a very complex network and you kind of take it as a whole. And both approaches are really important. For example, if you want to develop effective therapeutics, you need to have both views, and we will provide you with this, with both views. And this finishes the first semester. You already have 60 hours lab, so it's already quite much. Then the second semester continues your formation with bioimaging. It's essential to know the basics of microscopy, for example, which is important for medical imaging, or for magnetic resonance, which is used in diagnostics, as you know, and you will learn the basics of this, again, with many hours of laboratory. You will learn the basics of gene and cellular therapy for precision medicine. You know how important it is, for example, genome editing by CRISPR-Cas. I'm sure you heard about that. But to do that, you need to bring, new ribonucleotide or new tools into the cell. You need vectors, and you will learn, for example, how to deliver, how to design effective gene therapy approaches, or how you can use even cells, for example, in CAR-T therapy for hematology. And again, you will have laboratory beside theoretical lectures. You will also learn how to deal with data, with biostatistics, data analysis, and biomedical data analysis and biostatistics. It's essential that you know how to deal with many data you will collect, and also some AI-based analysis of data and bioinformatic tool. You've already been given the first year. And then there is this very, I think, nice and important course, Research Management and Experimental Design, which will provide you with two important things. One is how to design an experiment for a specific purpose. Where should I start? What is the right model? Is this a cell line? Is it a tissue? Do I need to have a real animal? Because otherwise I cannot get any useful information. The design of experiments is really complex, and it's something that you will learn in this class. And you will also learn I would say, the typical management that a researcher has to deal with when one writes scientific grants, scientific proposals, and has to do with ethics, bioethics, administration, rules, regulation, and so forth. So this you will learn about this class. And then finally, in the second year, again, there is one semester where you will learn about bioinformatics. It's also an essential new discipline, and you will learn about structural bioinformatics and also computational genomics, again with some lab. And also there is a compulsory class in cancer biology, metabolism, and therapy, where you will learn the basic of cancer, what makes a cell a cancer cell, and what are the changes in its metabolism, what are the possible therapeutic approaches. And then you see here that you can start choosing your elective courses to focus, as I said, more into drug discovery, neuroscience, diagnostics and laboratory medicine, or hygiene. So you can choose your favorite course in the first semester, and you can continue choosing a course in the second semester. Again, you can focus on precision oncology, or you can focus on systems and clinical neurobiology if you are, for example, more interested into the neuroscience path. And then you see that the second semester is it's not full of courses because we have a very long training and internship space. 20 credits are left for that. It means that you will have a lot of time to do your training in a laboratory of your choice in the university, or at the university, or in other laboratories outside the university. And of course, then you will have time to prepare your final exam. There are also 8 credits that are left up to your choice, both in the first and in the second year. And some of these credits are also dedicated to seminars that our stakeholders, these companies I mentioned before, will organize. So they will come here, or they will do also some sort of online seminars sometimes, so that you can get to know their realities and perhaps find interesting places where you want to do your internship in the future. The admission requirements, very briefly: you need a biological science or biotechnology degree, so scienze biologiche, biotecnologie, o tecniche di laboratorio biomedico as a degree, or you can have any other degree with some requirements in terms of credits. You will find everything in the website, so I won't tell you now. But if you have one of these degrees, you can certainly apply for our program. As far as you have a degree grade greater than 90 almeno, su 110, or in the European system, you have to have the CGPA greater than 81%, which is analog to 90. So in this case, you can just apply, and there is no other examinations unless you get too late. So the sooner the better if you are interested, because we have limited places. Here is the website. I invite you to check, especially how to enroll, because what I briefly said now is really explained in detail. So you can get a lot of information from our website. And very briefly, what you will do after our degree. You will become a senior biologist with a lot of expertise in translational research and biomedical, clinical, and healthcare fields. You will be trained in advanced diagnostics with a focus on personalized medicine, and you will also have knowledge about planning and managing of research projects, which is really important if you want to continue working in any private or public research institute. You have to know how to manage a scientific project, and you will be given these skills. You will also be able to develop innovative products for prevention, diagnosis, and therapy. And job opportunities are, of course, in university, in public and private research institutions, in hospital companies, in laboratories for biological, genetic analysis and quality control, any sort of biotechnological and pharmaceutical industry. And also, due to this modern way of teaching, which will develop your communication skills, you will have opportunities also in agencies in the field of communication, dissemination, and scientific information, which is also another opportunity that I think should be considered. Biomedical consulting, and of course, you can continue also if you're interested with PhD programs of residency schools for non-medical professionals. We have a very nice offer here in Verona, or of course, you can continue elsewhere as well. So with this, I'm finished. I would like to tell you, for those of you who are here in the class, that you can, if you're interested, visit our laboratories. There are some teachers who are willing to show you around. So just wait outside and we will organize some tour of our laboratories. And if you have any requests, don't hesitate to contact me for questions about the program and how the classes, their contact, the program organization, or for administration related issues, you can contact Cristina Gerimondo at this email address. And of course, now I think I'm running out of time, but I will be just here outside. So if you have any questions, you just ask and I will be happy to try to answer them. And I hope I convinced you that this is a very interesting and new, not so new, because as I said, it's the third year, novel, I would say, master's degree, and we hope to welcome you in